I just got done with Justin Brock's Medicare conference, and it was a phenomenal experience. And let's go through what I learned, and I'll give you guys a little recap from the conference. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you checking out the video. My name is Justin Thomas. On this channel, I like to talk about insurance, advertising for insurance, money, entrepreneurship, real estate, and a few other things that I am interested in. But today we are talking about insurance and Medicare specifically. So just got back from Justin Brock's Medicarecon is what it's called. It was in the Renaissance Hotel at the Ross Bridge Golf Resort, which is a beautiful hotel, by the way. It looks like Hogwarts. It's a really cool area. First time to Birmingham. Honestly, I think I've been through Alabama on a quick drive, but first time like really experiencing Alabama. Really, really cool place. But the resort was amazing. Where Justin picked for this place was amazing. It was a really good experience. I was the one last year, and Justin had his first conference. And sorry, I'm Justin, but Justin Brock is also Justin. So we're gonna have a lot of Justins being said on this video. But Justin Brock had his first Medicarecon last year. I think there were about 200 agents there. And the second time having the event this year, doubled the event. I think there were about 300 to 400 agents. It was a really great experience. Some of the biggest names in the Medicare insurance industry, agency, that whole space. They were there, they were speaking. I actually got to speak on a breakout on Thursday, which I was very grateful that he allowed me to do that. Was honored that, he thought that I had something valuable to say. So I really appreciate you doing that, Justin, allowing me to speak. I actually really didn't know what I was gonna talk about. Justin told me he wanted me to do a breakout. I've been to several events where breakouts are, the speakers have been speaking throughout the day, and then, you wanna go focus on advertising. So there's like a break for an hour and you go pick who you wanna be around, and it's like a group of like 5 or 6 people that get around. But then there's other breakouts where they're smaller and they're more speech style. So I really didn't know what it was gonna be coming in. I'm pretty confident talking about insurance and advertising and all that stuff. So I wasn't too worried, but I didn't come prepared at all. So how I kind of took it is I wanted to figure out what the room needed, and then I presented on that. So what I ended up talking about a lot was, depending on what stage you're at in your career, in your business, what you should be doing and how to implement that stuff. So that's a really cool, I enjoyed giving that talk. I think that I'm gonna actually put that entire talk as a video here on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out in the next couple weeks when that comes out. And the best way you can check that out is to subscribe to the channel right now, so you get notified when that new video comes out. I would appreciate that. All right, so this was an amazing event, and Justin's actually doing this event again next year. I think he's gonna continue to do this annually. I haven't been to a ton of Medicare conferences, but I know that there are some out there. And I know that when it comes to insurance conferences in general, a lot of them can be boring. And this one was far from boring. It was the complete opposite. It was people talking about business, right? It's not people talking about products, talking about what tends to be boring. It's people coming in and sharing what's working for their business, some sales tactics, what systems are working in their business, what marketing is working in their business, what advertising, what channels of advertising, all that types of stuff. So it was really, really tactical. It's really like, hey, this is what we're doing. Take something from this and implement. So there's definitely things that were said that everybody that was there should have been able to take one golden nugget, come back home and add another 10,000 or way more, depending on where you're at, to your business over the next year. So he's doing this again next year, and I'm just a fan of Justin in general. I think he's a really good guy. He's doing a lot of cool stuff for the industry. So below this, if you're interested, I'm gonna put a link to next year so you can go check that out. So just go below the video, there's a little description, there will be a link in there for you to check that out. So I also have an insurance agency myself, and one of the branches that we wanna build out is Medicare. I think that it's a really nice hedge for inflation. It's a really nice profitability hedge. If you always have, money coming in, renewals coming in, that you've already paid for the cost to acquire. It's just profit. It's a really solid branch to build out, I personally believe. So I want to build that out in my business. And because of that, I wanted to learn some things when I came to this conference. So I wanted to speak, that's why I was here. But in addition to that, I wanted to learn some things myself. And anytime that you pay for a conference, pay for a mentor, pay for anything, you always want to get the most out of it. And the best way to get the most out of something is to come with expectation. So I came with expectation of 3 things. And if you've seen in my videos before, I always like to think of 3 things that I want to take away when I go and do some sort of paid mentorship or event or something like that. Because if we don't come with expectation, then we will leave with basically nothing. So come with expectation, anything that you do, and you'll find it. Your reticular activating system will start going. It will find the answer for you. So come with expectation. That is an important part. All right, so for me, the 3 things that I wanted to learn, number 1 is figure out what marketing strategies are working the best. Number 2 is meet somebody that will have an impact on my business and or life, or both. And 3 is take one systems or scaling nugget from one of the people that are in this room that are doing insane numbers. Because how often do you get the chance to be around people doing multiple millions, multiple millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars? Very, very slim chances that you get to be around those people often. So when you are around those people, soak up what you can, right? And so for me, it was figure out one nugget that would make sense for the level that I'm at. Maybe not implement right now, but have in my mind for the path and the trajectory I want to go towards in the future with the insurance agency. And if it makes sense for Insurance Advertising Masters, then I'll implement it right now too. Perfect. So those are the 3 things. So I'm gonna tell you right now what I learned when it came to those 3 things that I came to the conference with expectation to learn. So the first thing was, what are the best marketing strategies that are working right now? And in line with what I do and believe, I met somebody named Josh Lustig, and he teaches how to do webinars. He teaches how to put a video out and make people come to you. That is 100% in line with what I believe. And there are a lot of people that are implementing that strategy as well too. And it seems to be one of the best strategies working right now because it's newer, it's using education, it's ethical based marketing. You're educating your consumer with yourself, the salesperson. It's very similar to everything that I believe, and it's working really, really well when you dig into the numbers. So that was really cool to see and just to understand and see it being used by people in the field, and that people are actually able to implement Facebook ads and YouTube ads and funnels, which I've known all along. I firmly believe, and I know that's possible because I have clients doing it, but at the same time, Medicare agents tend to be, insurance agents in general tend to stick to like what they know, and they don't oftentimes like to adapt to new things. So it's been really cool to see other people, just besides me and my client base, are actually implementing and doing the same stuff. So that was really cool to see. The other thing is I learned another really great marketing strategy is working is branded or personally developed direct mail, which I've had an idea about for a long time. And it aligns with, again, the other things that I believe is that you need to be taking control of your leads. You need to be taking control of your marketing and advertising. And so, the person, and I'm gonna give you a little hint for number 2, the person that I met, his name's Christian Brindle. I've known Christian Brindle for a while, but I've never met him in person. And he told me that the best marketing strategy that's working for his business, and he does a lot. He does Facebook ads, he does TV, he does radio, he does podcasts, he does, he'll buy leads. But the thing that works the best for him is branded direct mail. And it's something that a direct piece of mail that he wrote, he's worked on, he's put his own messaging into, he's put his own brand, his own story, everything that he's fully customized himself. It's crushing everything else. And I think that the reason that is because he has full control over it. He knows who he wants to attract. He knows who his customer is. He knows how to speak their language and educate them. And he knows what's going on in their mind, which is everything that needs to be done when it comes to advertising. And so that's why that's crushing everything else that he's doing. Everything else is still working good. It's profitable, it's making him money, but that's the thing that's working best for him. So that was another really cool takeaway. So I already gave you a sneak peek on number 2 was meet somebody that's gonna have an impact on my business or life. So like I said, I've known Christian for a while, but I actually get to meet him in person, and he is just like he is online. Funny, fun dude, very, very smart, very successful, has an amazing agency agency. He's got multiple employees. He's got a lot of systems. He's got a podcast out. He's doing a lot of content branding, content marketing. It was just really cool to meet him. I know that as we go along in the future, there's gonna be so many ways that we can collab, and I can just come to him when I have questions. I've already come to him when I have had questions before. But the thing is, like, a lot of people will hit a certain level in business and then they'll be afraid to like go out and ask somebody for help. And for me, like, yes, I have this one business over here that's doing quite well, but I also want to have this insurance agency and going out and in Medicare, actually selling it, actually hiring agents and building systems to come in and do that for a Medicare agency. That's something that's new to me. What I think can get in a lot of people's ways is if they have successful businesses before, they're afraid to go and start over and not be good at what they're doing when they start out new. And the thing is, everybody's going to be bad at what they do when they start. And so if you let your ego get in the way, if you let the fact that you've done some similar things, some sort of business before, get in the way of you having somebody you can ask questions to, you're really just doing yourself a disservice, because if you can find somebody you can ask questions and they're just gonna help you, you're gonna cut down the time it takes to learn things exponentially. Like, you could learn something in 1% of the time that it would have taken you to learn on your own. And so having Christian, I'm gonna be able to just have that back and forth with him, run ideas by him. He can run ideas by me when it comes to marketing. But it was really good to just meet him in person and make that one connection. And honestly, that's something I would recommend to anybody that's going to any event, is have one of your goals, your expectations is to meet somebody, because oftentimes we get stuck in our own community, right? I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Other people are from, other smaller towns where there's not always people doing the same things as you. There's not always people that are wanting to grow at the rate you are, that are wanting to take their business to the level that you are. And so when you can meet somebody that maybe isn't from your geographic area, that you can have a connection with, that you can then use as somebody that you bounce ideas off with, it's extremely valuable to you in your business growth. And also you can provide value to them, because there's probably a lot that you bring to the table as well too. So I would always suggest, when you go to some sort of event, and honestly, it's kind of hard for me, as much as like I'm here talking on camera right now, I do a lot of content, I even speak from stage. I think I am typically an extrovert, but when it comes to meeting people for the first time, I tend to be pretty shy. And so I know that a lot of people can relate to that, but the one thing I would say is, no matter what, just push yourself to meet one person at an event. It makes a big difference. And before I get into this, I do want to say that, yes, I met Christian. I met so many other people that are also doing very, very, very successful things. Obviously, I met Justin. I'd met Justin before, Justin Brock. There's some other speakers I met. So I met a lot more than just Christian. Christian's just the one that I focused on talking about in this video. There's so many amazing people that I met, so many amazing people doing amazing things, and I don't want to discount that by not specifically talking about them, but I'm also trying to make this, a relatively timely video, not like an hour-long video. And I want to make it as most relevant to you guys. So number 3, one scaling thing that I learned, and this didn't even come from stage, this came from talking to an individual at one of the after parties, one of the networking events that happened after the speaking. It was something that I actually overheard, but it made a lot of sense. And so the person I was speaking to is Medicare Bob. That's what he goes by. He was talking about how in his current agency, and he runs I don't really want to speak to what all he does, because I'll probably butcher it, but he's got a massive agency. I think it's a call center. Again, I don't want to butcher it, but they hire LOA agents, and LOA stands for licensed only agents. It's basically as if you have a salaried employee. You can also give them bonuses. You control the compensation. It's not downline, it's different. And I really like that model. I think there's a lot of, from a business owner perspective, it gives you more control, and you can serve your agents better that way, depending on how you do it, right? You could not serve them better, but you also could serve them better, depending on how you set things up. The thing that I took away was his hiring process for that, right? He hires, and I think he does this, I think he said 2 or 3 times a year. But coming this week, right after the conference, they were bringing on 40 agents. And then from the 40 agents, they go through training, they get licensed, they get put on outbound calls. So they start by dialing to create inbound leads for the actual agents. And then once they prove themselves there, then they actually get moved to an agent. And then still once they get moved to an agent, then they have a ramp up period where they need to hit a certain KPI, which is a key performance indicator, which is the amount of sales that they make, the closing percentage, all that stuff. So you start with a big pool, right? 40, and then out of that 40, you may have 10 agents that stick. But the reason you do that is because you cannot predict the future. You cannot tell who is going to be great. When you go to hire somebody, the person that gets on that interview is the best that person's ever going to be. And so we are oftentimes deceived by interviews in the first few interactions with people because they, through the selection process, people have gotten really good at putting their best foot forward and having a great first impression, but that does not always show who they're gonna be 8 weeks, 10 weeks down the line. Is the person still trying every single day as hard as they can because they want the benefits that they're gonna get, that they wanna be, self-motivated, self-driven, all that stuff. And if you just go to hire somebody and you hire one person, you are putting all of your cards on one hand. You are putting everything into this one person, and that's a lot of risk. Now, on the other hand, a lot of agencies don't have the capital in order to hire 40 people and then narrow it down to 10. But like I said, this is a scaling thing. It's not something that you're gonna do from going from a single agent to then hiring 40 people the next week, or even once you get to that point. Your first hire is probably not gonna be you hiring 40 people and narrowing it down to one. But as you grow, as you scale, as you get to that point, you get a few agents, you start growing, you start getting better, you can still take that principle and apply it at a smaller rate. One of the things that I like to do in all of my businesses is the rule of 2. Whenever you have a position at all, you should always have 2 of those positions so that you're never self-reliant on one single person that could ultimately end up leaving and your business has a massive hole in it. So always, if you can, if it makes sense, have 2 of one position, because then, like I said, you're not left to a huge hole if that person leaves, but at the same time, those 2 are always competing with each other in order to make each other better, make the business better, and have everything run better, and kind of also have a fun culture as well too. So I really like that rule of 2. Now, at the end of the day, this was an amazing conference. There was so much to learn, so much to be had. If you're a Medicare agent, a Medicare agency owner, if you're interested in getting into Medicare, if you sell other types of insurance and you want to do Medicare, this is the conference to be at. There is so many amazing people, so many great agencies, so many relationships to be developed. And that's not even talking about the actual talks that happened, the actual speeches that went on, sharing the ins and outs of the business. I'm sure Justin's got a lot of videos that are gonna come out on that, but I wanted to talk about more the experience and what gets learned, what type of actual environment it is, what type of culture it is, the types of people that you can meet, and the things that you can learn in and out of just the conference, just the speakers, just the events going on. So I hope this had value to you. I hope that you guys can take something away from what I learned, and I love sharing it with you guys. Really appreciate you guys watching the video to the end here. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video, please subscribe. And if you didn't enjoy the content, that's fine, just subscribe anyway. Awesome guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys are interested in the same things as me, the things I love to talk about are insurance, advertising and marketing, entrepreneurship, money, real estate, and just a few other things in there as well too. If that is you, please check out some of my other videos, but also make sure that you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I share a lot more of this stuff. And I'm also sharing stories, which gives you the ins of my businesses that I'm running, which are, there's a lot of entertainment in those stories there. But if you want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, my username is Justin Thomas IAM, which stands for Insurance Advertising Masters. So go follow me over there. But as always, seriously appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.